Hey, welcome back to the Ping Pong Flick Show. My name is Chris Wong. Aloha Fridays, guys. It is time for the weekend. Yes! First of all, a follow-up to Batgirl news from yesterday. We all know Joss Whedon gone bye-bye, and Batgirl is looking for a female director. Well, there has been actually a lot of people who heard the story that they need a story for Batgirl, and there's been some writers that actually tweeted out saying something about that. But this one's interesting. This one comes from a tweet from Roxane Gay. She put down, "Hey DC Comics, I can write your Batgirl movie, no problem." And the person who responds to that is Michelle Wells. And Michelle Wells, she's the VP of Warner Brothers Entertainment of DC Comics, former exec editor of Disney, senior editor of Penguin Random, and all this other things in her resume as per se. And she replies back and says, "If you're serious, contact me," and gives her email out. Now if you look at that, we all have her email now. But that's interesting. And why is that interesting? Well, Roxane Gay, when you look further into it, she was actually apparently snubbed by Marvel. Okay, this is coming from Wikipedia, and the main article is about World of Wakanda. In July 2016, Gay and poet Yona Harvey were announced as writers for Marvel's comics World of Wakanda. It was a spin-off from the company's Black Panther title, making them the first black women to be lead writers for Marvel. And so World of Wakanda was hailed for its prominent portrayal of LGBTQ characters. The comic followed the journey of two lovers, Annika and Ayo, who were former members of the Dora Milaje. The Black Panther's female security force. The series follows the pair through multiple events, including the siege of their city by Thanos and their flooding of Wakanda by Namor. The series was confirmed canceled in June of 2017 by Roxane Gay on Twitter, however, ironically 2 days after the premiere of the trailer for the Black Panther movie. With their last issue released in March of 2017, Marvel stated no official reason for the cancellation. However, feminist tech site The Mary Sue pointed to the connection between Marvel's knock against diversity titles and the Marvel VP David Gabriel's statement that people didn't want any more diversity. They didn't want female characters out there. That's what we heard. Whether we'll believe that or not, I don't know that that's really true. But that's what we saw in sales. And a lot of the comic book community, including my own friends, know that Marvel has been doing some really interesting stuff. They're trying to diversify. They're changing up the core characters and here and there. DC has had a little bit of that as well, although after Rebirth they're kind of going back to the classic characters again, and Marvel is continuing down a route that a lot of Marvel comic fans don't like. So yeah, maybe the sales wasn't there. But now that this writer could be going into DC's court here and making a Batgirl story, and great. I mean, if you got a good story, then you can make a good movie out of it. That's I say. So more DC films, sure, why not? Let's get ahead of that, as long as Joss Whedon is not anywhere involved with that matter. Talking about women superhero movies, there was also that movie that was supposed to be shooting in the next 2 weeks, and that is Silver and Black. That's the spin-off from Spider-Man spin-off, how Venom has a spin-off from Spider-Man universe. Sony was going to have one with Silver and Black, and that would involve a Silver Sable and Black Cat in those two Marvel female characters. So that was going to happen. But apparently, according to Saqib Mansour at Segment Next, The report is that it has been halted for an undisclosed reason and period. What they believe is that Sony Pictures wants to first settle its business decisions before dropping further money into the project. This matches with earlier reports that the company, under its new chief executive officer Kenichiro Yoshida, is considering to sell its major movie assets, much similar to the landmark deal brought to 20th Century Fox by Disney a few months back. So recently they've hired a couple more people on board on that, and confirmed by Omega Underground that talented Black Panther costume designer Ruth E. Carter would be continuing to work on superhero films and was hired. That is awesome itself. I mean, the costume design in Black Panther was exceptional. I think down to the superhero costumes, sure, but the other people involved, the guards, the different tribes, they just look fantastic. Just the level of detail on that, and then to even make it even so much cooler is that she apparently, according to BatmanNews.com, she was actually inspired by Man of Steel. She said this to Inverse. She said, "When I observed Superman's suit and his texture, I could actually see the musculature underneath was silver." Carter told Inverse, "I thought this is fabulous for the Black Panther. We're going to use that suit to make it vibranium because it needs to feel laced in vibranium and have luminosity. The muscles needed to have highlights that the silver would give underneath." So she went back and used it as well. I don't think it's in this article, but I remember also reading that she even put in inscriptions on the suit of Black Panther, like how they put Kryptonian inscriptions on the Man of Steel suit. So that's kind of cool that she kind of got a little inspired by Michael Wilkinson's designs for Superman in Man of Steel and the other movies from then on. And what she meant by having that silver underneath, that's actually from Justice League, where if lit correctly it would be cool, but they had these silver plates and then the suit go over it, so the silver would kind of show and kind of gleam a little in the sunlight, so it has a little bit sparkle, if you will. But because Joss Whedon lighted it and color corrected to crappy effect, that purpose of how it should look like, it did not go through. But if you check out the behind the scenes or the leak clip about the suits, you can actually see how it looks better in the behind the scenes. You know what I mean? It looks better shot in the behind the scenes than the actual movie. How is that possible? How is that possible? So anyway, it's so cool that she got inspired by that Man of Steel and Batman v Superman and the amped up version for Justice League. Speaking about Man of Steel now, not that I have real news about that, I have no insider scoop at all, but this is coming from Revenge of the Fans, I'm sorry. And he had posted up this interesting article, and it's about Joss Whedon's leaving. So this is from Mario Francisco Robles. He stated in here that he believes, like how I kind of thought and everybody else kind of thought as the third option, that Batgirl was really just a facade for him to work on Justice League. Yeah, we kind of feel that way as well. Could be one of the reasons. But with that being said, he goes on further talking about the DC slate, because he never had Batgirl in the slate to begin with, because he kind of had that behind the scenes knowledge towards it, right? So I looked down through this entire article, and I'm going to link it on the description. But it goes into Nightwing and so on and so forth. But what I'm really interested in is when he talks about Man of Steel. Okay, you ready? So it says right here, Man of Steel 2, however, is still on the way, so Superman fans can rest easy. While it's not on the official DC slate yet, I'm told it's all a matter of contractual logistics. Cavill wants to do it. The studio wants him to do it. It's just a matter of hammering out a new deal for the actor. He's got one more appearance left, and while the studio would love to have to be for his second solo film, I've heard he'd like to make his Shazam cameo count as the final appearance and then do the next Superman movie as part of a new deal. So that's the rumor anyway, or that's what he's saying anyway. He has been right several times. I've not followed this guy long enough to know when he's wrong, but from when I've followed him, it seems to be on point so far. So I don't know. I mean, take what you will of that. It is rumored after all. It's just all this is speculation. I'm just putting out what different articles, what people have been putting out there, and how it pertains to my interest anyway, and to hopefully your interest. But that's interesting. Man of Steel 2, haven't heard any news, but this is the only thing I could find today. And then Zack Snyder drops this. What does it mean? He puts it on Vero today. That's obviously Henry Cavill in the Superman suit. He puts out that picture. He says, found this guy. Whether or not he actually just found Henry Cavill during his vacation, wherever he is, or what he's trying to say is he either found a symbol of hope. You know, maybe he's trying to tell us to be hopeful for either the Snyder Cut, or Man of Steel 2. I don't know. Okay, I'm just putting out there that this is the first thing we've seen of him ever doing anything related to DC for a while now, in terms of actually him putting out something rather than just liking something, you know. So I thought that was kind of cool. I thought that was kind of interesting. What does it mean? I don't know. We're all hopeful that maybe, you know, in my dreams, if I fall asleep and I'm dreaming, I'd be dreaming that Walter Hamada is walking into Cruel Unusual Films' door and says, Zack, my man, come back. You know? Or, man, we're going to make your Snyder Cut. We're fully approved. Come back, work for us, you know, edit this, and then release that, and then for our goodwill, we're terribly, terribly sorry. I don't know if it's going to happen, but that's in my dream when I sleep, and then when I wake up and found out that this might not be a reality. But with this picture, I am hopeful. I think he's telling us that there is hope, and be sure to keep following. Clay Ennis seems to be hopeful as well. His own son seems to be hopeful as well. So that's all we can do, is to hope and see we'll ever get the Snyder Cut. But in any case, Aquaman is still coming out this year, so for all you people who need a DC fix, that's coming out. We're also waiting for the Shazam suit coming around the corner, and Avengers Infinity War is coming out this year. It's the culmination of a giant episodic Marvel storyline. Let's see what's happening to that. It's going to be a huge epic movie, I know for sure. Alright guys, I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. Let me know, what do you guys think about the Silver and Black being delayed? How about Ruth Carter actually getting ideas for her suit from Superman, Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, Michael Wilkinson's designs? What do you guys think about Batgirl? Are you for that writer? I have not read any of her comics, so I don't know how her writing is, but are you for that or not? And what do you think about Man of Steel 2? You think that's still happening? Do you think they're actually it's still on the way? I am very hopeful for it, and I believe they should. It's a no-brainer for me, but I don't know, what do you guys think about that? Is Superman gone? And then I don't know, what do you make about Zack Snyder's recent Vero post? I mean, that when I saw that, I jumped out of my seat. I don't know about you, but I jumped out of my seat. Alright guys, thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful weekend. I'll see you next time.